You are watching Fuel Motivation. More videos from your favorite public speakers. Be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications.
Some are actually born with some genetic freakishness. I was not. And what people do so well with me is that they forget the first fucking 4 chapters of that book. And all they fucking do, as you read, you start to forget shit. And then you start to hear about running on broken legs and fucking all that sort of shit. And he's must be, oh my God, pull-up records and this and that. Fucker, don't forget the first 3-4 chapters when I couldn't read as a junior in high school, when I hid out. I had to reinvent a human being. I sat at home for so many fucking nights by myself, broken, not just physically, mentally, spiritually, like that chart we have up here with the fucking charity and the fucking family and all that shit, mental toughness, strength, power, shit. I'm like, fuck, man, I was fucked up. But then I sat back and said to myself, I invented a motherfucker. I actually sat back when I was fat, nasty, out of shape, miserable, and created a human being in my mind that didn't even exist. And said, that's what I want to be. I want to be that guy. I want to be a guy that's capable of doing exactly what I'm doing today. And you have to, if you weren't born that guy, that mentally strong guy, he can be made. Woman, man, whatever the hell you are. It can be made. But in making that person, you have to be able to turn down book deals. You have to be who the fuck you are every day of your life and never care about anybody who gets in your way that said you're not doing something the proper way. I was always afraid of people not wanting to, like, when you get bad as I did, I lied all the time. I wanted to be accepted and loved and all that shit that I created about 50 people. Whatever you like, I like. Just if you would be my friend, just be my friend. And that's where we get lost in life. If you don't get over that, you're doomed. Because what happens is this. You start to create a whole bunch of people that aren't even yourself. You never figure out who you are. You never live up to your dreams, your ambition. You live up to what whoever is around you that you like so much that you want to emulate and be like so much. You live their dreams. You lose your power. You lose your power. The ultimate power is owning yourself. They can. And I get that question a lot. While it helps you, it also hurts you to come from darkness. Because why? It's easy for me to sit back and say, you know what? Poopy pants mentality. I want to sit back and let the world take care of me now. And that's what I'm talking about. Don't play sick too long. While my childhood was so messed up, I played sick way too long, and I almost lost tons of opportunities by playing sick. Because it feels good to play sick. And I couldn't read. I can't read. When I was a junior in high school, I couldn't read. If you live that life, it feels good for people to, oh, man, that's just David, man. He's just not real smart, and he had a bad life. And you get a get-out-of-jail-free card. That's nice. It sucks doing what I had to do to get here today. That was not fucking fun. That darkness is not, there's nothing that dark to drive me to the places I had to go to become successful. On the flip side of that, if you come from a silver spoon family, you have to realize that. You have to realize, fuck, there's people out there like David Goggins who had nothing, fucking nothing. And I've had all this opportunity in front of me, and I'm a loser. I'm not shit. So what does that say about me? The conversations are very similar. You have all this opportunity, and you've gone nowhere with it. I'm at the bottom of the barrel, and it could take me a lot longer just to get where you're at for the starting line, to be fair. So I realized that whenever times would get hard for me, I would fucking quit. And I would work my ass off. I taught myself how to read and write. I taught myself how to swim. But whenever something would crest just high enough to where I just couldn't mentally handle it, I would always just punch out. And this right here is you pulling your parachute and pulling a reserve. Is why I'm doing this. So basically, you always just punch out and you fucking quit and go back to where you started. I'm not good enough. And I wonder, why is my mind so fucked up? And I think a lot. And I said, you know what, man, this shit started in Buffalo with my father. I hadn't seen him now for 12 years. So I drove from Indiana to Buffalo, New York to visit my father. And while we didn't say anything to each other, you know, he tried to, you know, do whatever he does. And he didn't say sorry, but only went back there to study the demon. I never studied him before. And come to find out, years later, I found out that he's afraid of the dark. He had a whole bunch of demons himself. While he never said sorry, I was able to understand a little bit more about the fucking enemy. And when you understand the enemy more, it makes sense to why if nothing makes sense to you, you always wonder why. So those demons keep on flying around. I knew why. I did my research. So never fear something until you do your research on it. When you don't fix yourself, if you're 20 years old, you get a girl pregnant, you're not ready for that. When you're a young kid, 4, 5, 6, I'm not like giving him a get out of jail free card. The man needed fucking help and never got it.
So Jung had this phrase that he liked, that he took from the alchemists, which was in sterquilinus invenitur. And what it meant was, what you most want to find will be found where you least want to look. There's this old story that's from King Arthur, and King Arthur has these knights, right? They all sit around a round table, which means they're roughly equal. That's what the round table means. And they're off to find the Holy Grail, and the Holy Grail is the most valuable object. That's what it means. So they're off to find the most valuable thing, but they don't know what it is, and they don't know where it is. But they know that there's a most valuable thing. So in some sense, it's akin to them orienting themselves by the star. And they don't know where to look. And so what they decide is, they have the castle, and it's the middle of a forest, and so each knight decides to start looking for the Holy Grail by entering the forest at the point that looks darkest to him. And so what's the idea there? Well, imagine there are things that come easy to you, and that you're fond of pursuing, and that you're happy about pursuing. So you've found those and pursued them, and you've mastered them. So you know all that, but then there's another place that you don't want to go. And so you haven't gone there, and you haven't mastered it, and you're very small in comparison to it because you haven't mastered it. And so it has this monstrous aspect. But it has, if what you're doing isn't working, it's where you haven't gone that you need to go. And so I can give you another example of this. So let's say you're an agreeable person. And so you don't like conflict, and you won't stand up for yourself, and you regard anger and the proclivity to provoke and to engage in conflict as something that's positively terrible. It's not only that you're not good at it, it's actually that it's wrong. So that's where you have to go if you're going to learn how to stand up for yourself. And imagine that you're afraid. Maybe you have something like agoraphobia. So there's a whole bunch of things that you're afraid of, and you don't want to go there. But if you want to put yourself together, then that's exactly where you have to go. And so it's frequently the case that what you want to find is to be found where you least want to find it. And that idea is echoed in the prominent stories of dragons and gold. It's exactly the same idea, is that the dragon is this terrible thing. It's this terrible predatory thing that lives forever and is very, very wise. And it lives underground. And it'll kill you. It'll burn you up in a second. But it hoards gold. And so you have to go there into the dragon's lair if you're going to get the gold. And that's a representation of people's paradoxical relationship with reality. It's like you have to go out there and confront it in order to incorporate what it has to offer to you. But the probability that that's going to be intensely dangerous and push you right to the limit, first of all, those are actually the same thing. If it didn't push you to the limit, you wouldn't gain anything valuable from it. So you don't get one without the other. You don't get the gold without the dragon. That's a very strange, very, very strange idea. But it seems to be accurate. So all of that's lurking underneath this, in this imagery of the whale, the thing that's at the bottom